Adams Oshiomhole from representing Edo North. I joined in the amplifying the point made by my distinguished brother that work with 1 billion cannot be miscellaneous. We need to have the details. But I also feel that the guys who are paying these, the source of revenue, they are the sons and daughters of people who are grossly underpaid. So, raising revenue for candidates who are seeking admission, whatever, for me is something we need to look at. Should we impose more punishment on people who, because in most cases, they have to fall back on few privileged people, businessmen, and in particular politicians, to say, I can't afford to pay XYZ, can you pay for me? I think that JAMB should be sensitive to the reality of the country as it is today, that we are not supposed to put more burden on the children of the poor who attend universities. So for me, it's not something to celebrate, because it's like deepening the challenges that the poor are already facing. Now, that said, I look at how you spend the money, and I have huge challenges. For example, you go to number 13 and 14 on page 13. I see here local travels and transport orders, 600 million. Then 14 with extended local travels and transport training, 6.4 billion. Now, if you add the two, it becomes 7 billion. Please, how can you have two categories of local travel? Is it one within Kaduna, or sorry, within Abuja, and the other one within Nigeria? How is it? So, because what I found from all the agencies is that huge resources are spent on training, and training will write for the specific content of those training and who benefit from the training, and cross it over the total sum. You find that this cannot be justified. Not at the time when we are borrowing to fund our budget. Then I look at some of the items, they are almost one and the same. You spend 850 million naira for security. I don't know whether you are tied to security vote. Cleaning and fumigation, 850. Even if you live in a farm, do you need this kind of money to, what are you fumigating? I guess snakes or mosquitoes that will consume this amount? Because for me, this is the problem we face about throwing so much money on issues that cannot be verified. Just like local government breaking rules, and when you ask them, they say we fail after. And so you cancel it. Then refreshment. Refreshment and meals, 1.1 billion naira. Are you entitled to be fed by government? And your workers being freely fed? Now, these are huge numbers. When you take them together, you realize that you are spending for what you are generating for poor students, some of them orphans. Then we need to be more critical about how you spend. My general impression is that there is a level of luxury spending and things that are neither here or there. I see here, and I think next time we should have the privilege of having these documents in advance so that we can do proper. Now you have staff housing scheme, 1 billion. Is the federal government still providing housing? What happened to Obasanjo's monetization policy? So you are building housing, you are into construction? And if you do, are your staff members not entitled to housing allowance? Is it not built into the salary system? Then you have another loose word, staff welfare. I was going to assume that the 1.117 billion that you are spending on refreshment and meals is part of the welfare. But I will need to be educated about the meaning of staff welfare, which is 1.2 billion. And don't misunderstand me, anything that goes to the real workers, I have no problem. Except that when you go to the definition of staff and who benefit from this quote and unquote welfare, the outcome will be totally different. Then the last one, page 14, you have construction of cubicles, furniture and supply installation and networking of one, computer systems. I'm like, what is the lifespan of a computer? Do you buy them every year? If you look at your last year expenditure, these items were there. Then you have a procurement of office equipment, 120 million. What happened to the one you procured last year and the year before? What is the lifespan of this equipment? What is your depreciation policy? And lastly, Chairman, so I don't take too much time, procurement of utility vehicles. Is this utility vehicles pool cars or stars for car? I mean for stars, because you know one of the problems I'm seeing in public service is that in 1 year we monetize compensations. As a senator, I am not entitled to a personal car because my salary has been monetized. And then you have utility cars. And when we go into the detail, these are cars that the managers will use. They are not in the pool. They are assigned to officers in clear violation of the monetization policy. But if it is something that goes down to level 8, level 9, level 10, level 12, I have no problem. But usually this is something that goes over around the MD, the level 17, level 13, a few privileged people. And what about what happened to the ones you procured last year, the year before, or 3 years before? What is the depreciation policy, even if we are to assume that they are poor cars? So on the whole, when I look at your expenditure, you spend as if you are in Saudi Arabia. Because the resources that you are drawing is from people who can hardly pay it.
Thank you, thank you very much.
Opportunity to use this same platform to explain certain things in order not to give wrong impression of the board. For instance, about issues raised about food, we are not spending 1.1 on food and so on. We need to explain that. We
Registrar, when you bring the full details of your expenditure and everything, we'll be able to make a judgment out of it.
My fear is that the press will go with this wrong impression. It is important for me. Chairman, sir, it is important. Chairman, it's important for me I have integrity, I have my name, and for it will be unfair to me to say all these things on public about me, given the sacrifice I've made. I think it is important, sir.
Instead of giving us 4 billion and we're giving you 6 billion, take your 4 billion and pay your salaries.
We don't mind that, but so, permit me.
Sir, we are not debating it. I'm sorry. Take your 6 billion, take your 4 billion, which you wanted to release, and save yourself and pay your salaries. Give you what your business knows. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Next is
the heads of agencies that are here. Good afternoon to all of you. Mr. Chairman, I just want to make a general comment which I believe will help a lot. I have generally observed that most of the government-owned agencies, they collect money and spend it without coming to the National Assembly for appropriation. This is unconstitutional, it is illegal, and whoever does that has committed an offense. Secondly, Mr. Chairman, on further interrogation, some of these government agencies are claiming that they got waiver not to remit the total amount they collected. And that's why there is now very serious shortfall between what is supposed to be collected as revenue and what is actually collected. As per our record, over 5.9 trillion naira is supposed to be in the consolidated revenue fund of the Federation. But we only have 1.9. So I think, Mr. Chairman, distinguished colleagues, we need to set up a special technical committee that will investigate this serious anomaly. We cannot afford to allow government agencies to be spending money without due cost to the National Assembly. If somebody is giving waiver, we have to find out who gave that waiver. Is it authorized by the President? Is it the Minister of Finance? Or is it the head of the agency that gave that waiver? The shortfall of over 4 trillion naira is not a small amount. We have the documents before us. They have been submitted. And we found out that over 4.9 trillion naira has not been remitted when it's supposed to be remitted. It is not a job the National Assembly can sit down and do within 2 or 3 hours. We therefore need a consultant to do that. And I recommend, and I want to move that we should set up a technical committee that will investigate all the money that has not been remitted into either the Federation account or into the consolidated revenue fund of the Federation. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Honorable member is the registrar just mentioned to the chair now that there are more information that is not in his possession at this moment. And for us to be able to consider such a motion, it will be in the best interest of the committee to see all the details, the performance, just to give a fair hearing, to see the performance, what he has performed last year, 2024, and what his projection is for 2025. So in my opinion, or in the opinion of the chair, should we suspend the motion until when we have this information? In the opinion of my members and distinguished members and all members I will show it. So, Registrar, you have been said that, but the motion is still pending. That instead of you giving the federal government 4 billion, it's better federal government leave the 4 billion for you and you take care of all your expenditures. So with this, we will expect you to give us full detailed information. And this is what he said. This is also what the Minister of National Planning mentioned in his remarks. The need for us to be very transparent and to present detailed information of our revenues. So with this, we will call you back within these 3 days to go and defend your budget properly.
Sir, with due respect, sir, self-funded, but for salary, the federal government pays the salary.
Why can't you pay your salary?
We can, but
so we take you out of budget.
We can, but I would suggest that you do not do so.
No, you reduce your cost. Reduce your cost and get yourself funded. Pay your salaries. We will not allow anyone for salaries.
We can, Mr. Chairman, sir. Please permit me to call attention to the guideline that we are asked to bring the Establishment Act, which we have done, and then the 2025 revenue, as well as the strategies and sources of revenue, including the budget proposals. And we have duly submitted those. But in the presentation at the beginning, it appears some amendment to what was sent to us was made, because some of the things not requested on paper were mentioned by the chairman. I have the privilege, I think, of having to go before another committee. That's the Committee on Tertiary and Third Fund. And I am supplementing what I've given you with what I want to present, therefore making available from the other material to supplement those things that were not formally requested from us. Mr. Chairman, sir, if you allow us, after this meeting, those things not formally requested but mentioned by the co-chair, we can submit them later. I would therefore go with what we have been requested formally to present, which we have here. I'm here with the Director of Finance, and this is so I'm just jostling between the two, but let me keep myself within the one you requested for formally. We on page 1, we have the table. On page 2, we have the demanded act, which we have presented, and that goes
go to page 13. Let's start from your research.
Sir, thank you, sir. And on page 13, we have the sources of IDR, registration of UTME, registration for direct entry, services on e-facility, consultancy, and miscellaneous. This comes to 19,860,000,000. And the federal government personnel grant direct centrally paid is 6,638,550,716. And on that page 13, we have the expenses, and going up to page 14, and remittance, operation surplus remittance to CRF is 4 billion naira, and as agreed with the budget office. On the issue of assumptions, we have UTME 2.1 and DE 60,000. The registration fee is 3,005. That is what JAMB collects. That is not the fee, because many people, because they have to pay to the other charges like the books they will buy, like payment to the CBT centers and so on. This is other expenses, but what comes to JAMB is 3,500 naira per candidate. Mr. Chairman, co-chairman, thank you, sir.
So they are not fully funded. They are not self.
My name is Oshiomhole. I'm the Registrar of JAMB. In response to
leading to accident and avoidable loss of life of Nigerians. I would like you to comment on that, particularly this daily target for people to meet. So without a lot of faces committed, you are slow down and extra something. But no, you need permission from the chair before I transfer.
Self-funded, but for salary, the federal government pays the salary.
Why can't you pay your salary?
We can, but
So we take you out of budget.
we can, but I would suggest that you do not do so.
No, reduce your cost. Reduce your cost and get yourself funded. Pay your salaries. We will not allow anybody for salaries.
We can, Mr. Chairman, sir.
Mr.